Hi guys, and welcome to today's video wherein I'm going to be reviewing every single book I read in the year of 2024 last year in one sentence each. So there's 125 sentences coming because I read 125 books last year, and let's just directly get into it because I've been waiting so long. It's been 4 months and it's been a long time coming, so it's time. Before we get into it, reading is not a competition. That's literally the only hobby I have and the only thing I do in my free time, which is why I read so many. I am so proud of you regardless of whatever number you read, as long as you're reading good quality books, because that's really what matters over quantity. And every single opinion in this video is my own. Take it with a grain of salt. There are, points wherein some people may not agree with what I say about certain books because I'm very picky. Things can easily ick me out in books. So just ignore that and let's move past it, because reading is for fun. It's subjective. It's not really for everybody, my content, and I understand that, but hopefully it's for you and it's alright anyway. And let's just start. Yes, I'm using the same PowerPoint presentation of all my books from the last couple videos I filmed on the same subject. So if you want more brief thoughts on each of these books, I have a smash or pass books video and I have a yes or no video. I'm going to have them on screen for you. And if you want more in-depth thoughts, I keep the titles of books in my description of the videos, so you can always go check them out, see what I think about them. But so far, for our one sentence reviews, we have The Kingdom of Sweets. It's been a year and a half. I still don't understand the point of this book, and that's my review. With a Girl, a modern day Parent Trap-esque rom-com. All I Want for Christmas, 200 pages of build-up for the last chapter to come ahead and ruin every single thing, because why did that even exist? Mysterious Affair Styles. As a slow reader, I finished this in one day, a couple sittings, because this blew my mind. The ending is absolutely crazy. The Rom-com Agenda, a man pining after his ex while the love interest is left in the dirt. That's it. A Christmas Carol. For context, I read this in middle school for the first time, so my review of this is, rereading it now, I cried to a classic, never knew that day would come. That's what I think about it. Booked on a Feeling, your basic palate cleanser rom-com. I don't remember shit from this. True Believer by Nicholas Sparks. This book is the reason why I don't read books written by men. Yeah. The Stranger Upstairs. Again, 300 pages of great, on your toes, fun mystery thriller. For the ending to literally throw you off your seat because you're questioning the point of it, you're questioning why it happened in the first place. The biggest letdown ever. A Coat of Thorns and Roses, my so far 2-year-old hyperfixation that I will never stop hyperfixating on. This has taken over every facet of my life, and this is the book for me. Night Shift, published Wattpad rom-com where the main girlie is a book girlie like us. Listen, yeah, I don't even care, yeah. Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. This made me cry to a scene about a sweater. Never knew that day would come, but it did. I hope this doesn't find you. My review of this is literally, I hope this book doesn't find you, because I didn't see the chemistry. It was lacking for me. The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. If you want a book that's the culmination of every single thing happy, this is Groundhog's Day on Valentine's. This is the book for you. Blindside. Yet another man pining after his ex, wondering how to get back with her while our main girl gets left in the dirt. I'm gonna change this review a bit because I don't want it to be monotonous as the one I gave you earlier. So let's just say another man who needs to move on from his ex because she left him. Just get to terms with that already, and please stop having such people be the main male character of rom-coms, because I don't see how I'm rooting for someone like that. The Two of Us. The ending scene made me cry. It came out of left field, but it did make me cry, so it does deliver emotional impact without reason, in my opinion. So that's it. The Good Part. You know that Instagram sound, can we skip to the good part? That's this book. Can't wait to reread. Tell Me Lies. The most toxic college 2007 portrayal. This was fun actually, not even gonna lie. Mind-numbing and crazy, but also it was alright. The Gift by Frida McFadden. This is the first book I read by this author, but it wasn't the one that kickstarted my obsession. It was a disappointment of a novella. The X-Talk. Better than the other book I've read by this author, but the first half was great, the second half was not. Chemistry was good. After they got together, I was bored. The Chemistry of Love. Slow burn till 90%. Geeking out, nerding over everything we fangirl over. This is the best book, one of the best rom-coms I've ever read. Can't wait to reread. In 5 years, I should just stop reading this author's work because this had one trope I hated and I wanted to smash my head on a wall once I read it. What happened to the Bennets? The first half was grief heavy, the second half was action thriller. So if you want to get disappointed by the marketing on this, and if you want to wonder if you got catfished while reading it, this is a book for you. How I'll Kill You. This is a guidebook to what it says. I don't want to know how the author got these tips, but it's a fun book regardless, so yeah. Bride and Groom. This book had one plot twist and I guessed it. Again, would go smash my head on a wall rather than read this again. The Borrowers Afloat. Me and my reading a whimsical house moving castle kind of retelling, but it's a children's book era, and loving it. Try to Love Your Neighbor. How to try to remember books because I forgot everything about this, but I remember it was a good time while I was reading it. Friend in the Dark. Did not rate this 5 stars, but maybe I should go back and reread it because I think about every single mind-numbing plot twist in this back to back every single day, and it's crazy. Dream a Little Dream of Me. This book tried to get there. It almost got there, but then it failed. Red Room. For context again, if you're reading this, please check triggers. This tried to be Pretty Girls, but it wasn't it. Again, it fell short. To Serve With Love. People are gonna hate me for what I say next. Another basic good old rom-com that maybe wasn't for me. The Infinity Between Us. This is every single one of my favorite tropes packaged in a book. It was perfect. There's the coastal beach house, summer-esque vacation setting. There's Second Chance, childhood friends to lovers. What else do you want? Pick this book up. The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. As a hopeless romantic, this is one of the best rom-coms I've ever read in my life. Nothing will ever top it. If you want to giggle, if you want to be happy while you're reading it, if you want to swoon. This book. Bad Men. This book made me realize that I might actually be in love with a serial killer, which is very interesting because that's not really the kind of realization you want to have in life. My Roommate is a Vampire. No thoughts. I read this during summertime. It's a Halloween book, so no thoughts. Long Weekend. If you want a book wherein the epilogue is in the murderer's point of view and you didn't guess it at all, this is the book for you. Absolutely crazy, wild, bad shit goes on. Yes. One Italian Summer. I should not read this author's backlist because it comes up with yet another trope I hate so much to come punch me in the face and then make me hurt and pain over the fact that I picked it up in the first place, because why? Literally why? Love Game. Book gods hate me because the same trope came again in this book. Why? Why do authors put it in when they want you rooting for their characters? Because as soon as that happened, I was mentally checked out. Strange, Dark and Mysterious. If you want one of Mr. Boland's videos, except packed in the form of a graphic novel that actually keeps you on your toes interested, and it sucks you into the point where you don't even feel like it's a story happening, it feels like a movie in your mind, this book. Float. A cute YA, wholesome, summer-esque rom-com that is so sweet and amazing that you'll want to reread it every single year like I do. The Perfect Marriage. For context, I was at the moment while reading this watching the legal drama How to Get Away with Murder. At the moment I'm watching another legal drama, it's called Suits. So maybe I have like a lawyer thing as well, who knows, because Marriage for One is my favorite rom-com ever and in it the guy's a lawyer. But this one personally, the ending let me down because I would have expected something that wasn't so out of left field. It was alright, but it was out of left field. This book. We did not need the last thing to happen, but it still happened. And then, we had a couple things to deal with. I feel like the whole point of this book was overthrown with the thing that happens at the end. So why did it happen? No one can know. I don't know. I literally do not freaking know. The plot twist did not get me. I was checked out. No. First Lie Wins. If you want like a spy action movie in your head, this is a book for you. This is crazy and this is one of the best ones I've ever read. Love Interest. It had its moments when it was shining, and then it had its moments where I felt let down. So it had moments for sure. Not Without Me. When you learn why the title is Not Without Me, you're gonna want to throw up and then punch yourself for having read it in the first place. How to End a Love Story. He accidentally kills her sister and she falls in love with him. How am I supposed to be rooting for these people in the first place? Yeah, I'm still confused. Locked In, middle grade, spy type mystery thriller book, but also I'm not in middle grade, so I wasn't the target audience in the first place, so maybe I just shouldn't speak about it. Again but better. See, if this was done again but better, I would have liked it because there was one trope at the very end that ruined the whole book for me, or it would have been 5 stars. Again, why does that trope happen? That's my question of the day. The French Girl. I should move to France because this book made me feel nothing, and I know France is gonna give me quite the experience. It just wasn't this book. I need to pick up more Dogman books. That's my experience of learning from this book because all of them have some sort of moral at the end of it. And listen, I'm a kid again. I love bringing my inner child out, and that makes me feel this way through this book. Second Chance Summer. Cried for the last 200 pages straight. Regretted not having a box of tissues around me. If you want to be heartbroken and traumatized for the next month, this is your read. Begin Again. He makes his own coffee blend. That's how I market this book to everyone. Literally, that's top tier man. That's the only thing you ever need in men, so yes. Orbiting Jupiter. This book tried to make me feel a lot of things. Keyword is tried here. It didn't actually make me feel a lot of things, but it tried. Such a good family. Let me market this to you as a domestic drama, not a mystery thriller, so you don't fall in the same catfish that I did. What was the point? Definitely check triggers if you're reading this. Honey and Spice. New female character to obsess and fangirl over. New main male character to swoon over. This is the definition of rom-com because it is perfection. If there's one book you're taking from this that's a rom-com, make it this one. One by One. Very slow to get into, but once you get into it, you get into it. And I've been staying up till 4 in the freaking morning, realizing that you should probably go to bed, but you don't want to because this has you completely sucked in. absolutely batshit crazy wild. I had an amazing time. Sly Will Kill You, those 2 other videos I spoke about filming on these set of books or whatever, in both of them I got confused between this book and a different book, which means this wasn't memorable. What was the point of it? It was cringe, not gonna lie, so that's what I feel about it. Nora goes off script. Every once in a while you read a book that really connects with you on this soul deep level, and suddenly you're wondering the point of your own existence and you're pondering so hard. And that was this book for me. I'll never read anything like it. I hold this on a pedestal, so if you don't like it, don't tell me, because I would actually cry. Shipped. It's like a cruise rom-com kind of situation, good for the summertime, but let's be real, I didn't read it in the summertime. I shouldn't have read it in the first place because I was bored, but yeah. The Last Party. The ending got me, but was it really worth making my way to the ending considering how slow it was to get into in the first place? I'll leave that up to you, honestly. The Black Island. This book is a reminder of why I need to be reading more children's books to unleash my inner child, because yes. Five Broken Blades. Sometimes I think the author forgot the whole point of the book while she was writing this, because there's a bunch of side quests, and if you want a fantasy full of side quests, this is that book. The second book, however, is much better, and I have read it at this point, so I would say you should read this just to get to the second book. But I'm just gonna skip to the next one. The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie. Why is this title so big? Because it's such a mouthful. The book in itself, it was supposed to be satire. I didn't know it was satire. I was waiting for the plot twist the entire time. And joke's on me, because I mean, there were plot twists, but it's satire. Textbook romance, if you want reverse age gap done right, and it feels like it could be something written by Annabelle Monaghan, except in this author's own personal style, this is the book for you. You Will Be Mine. Another mystery thriller that disappoints because the plot twist at the end is more supposed to be for shock value rather than logic value, and so it makes absolutely zero sense. This is the book. Rewrite a story. I would rather tear my own eyes out. I would rather go and knife myself in the heart than read this book again, because this book is pure stupidity. I read for fun, not to go lose my last brain cell that I have left hanging in there, and that's what this book made me do. Lady Macbeth. She could have been more Lady Macbeth, but she just wasn't, and so I'm just gonna say maybe, maybe not. It's really up to you. This book, however, it really tried to be Shakespeare's version. It just didn't hit the mark, but the gothic vibes are great. Pizza Girl. Would like to go and hug the girl I was last year at the time of me reading this, because no one should be forced to kind of endure the trauma that I went through while reading this book. If there's some books I could go wipe out from my memory completely, it would be this book, because just what was the point? Tell me, what was the point? Same time next summer. I do love this author, but this is my least favorite book on her backlist, simply because it felt a lot like emotional cheating, even though there wasn't any actual cheating involved. No, you did it. This was the book I actually messed up This Lie Will Kill You with. So again, if 2 books that don't even look similar in any sense have you messing them up, have you, confused, they are very forgettable. So yeah, no. I'm just gonna say yeah, no. That's my review of it. Yeah, no. The Devil Wears Black. This guy really should go ahead and get himself glasses so he can see the boundaries the girl sets in front of him, because he crossed every single one of them. And it had its moments, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to support someone who crosses boundaries. Young Women, for context, I've heard that this book is supposed to be like a fictionalized recount of what Ted Bundy did, and that feels very, I suppose, disrespectful just to the victims and their families, which is why I'm going to skip over this one, because had I known, I would not have supported. The Notebook. I know people love the movie, but the book itself is like a little portrayal, textbook example of woman written by man, and if you want to read it you can, but there's also that trope in it that we all really hate as readers, so really up to you. But for me, would rather go and die than pick this up again. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. Is there somewhere I need to go sign so I can adopt these 2 and make them my legal children? Because can I be real, I'm obsessed. This gave me everything it needed to give me. This gave me butterflies. Haven't felt that in a while from rom-coms, and so yeah. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Again, let me give you a disclaimer before we get into the review. This book traumatized me. Check trigger warnings. It's very dense and heavy, but if you're taking this video as a recommendations video, I'm not recommending this book in any way, shape or form to you. But if you're a woman watching this video, I personally would suggest women to read it. So again, keep that in mind, but I'm not recommending it to you. And if you do end up picking it up, check trigger warnings. This book traumatized me to the point where I was scared of every man in my vicinity for 2 weeks straight. I never felt the same again. I don't think I will look at the world with the rose-colored glasses I had on before this. I was a different person before I read this book, so keep that in mind. My Heart and Other Black Holes. This book made me wonder if my heart is a black hole, because I didn't feel what it had to make me feel. So is my heart a black hole? The Gracia. This is a really good start for someone who wants to dip their toes into fantasy, because it's a fun book and it really had me, except for the last end romance or whatever, which fell flat for me, but otherwise it was great. Do Not Fall in Love. This is like your classic rom-com, and it was good. but also it was not. So it's really just your classic rom-com. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. This one, it's a maybe. Ward D by Frida McFadden. Maybe I grew an extra brain cell while I was reading it because I used it again while I was reading it and I guessed the biggest thing in this. So it fell flat for me, but you can read it if you want to. It just wasn't for me because I guessed it. None Shall Sleep. I've heard this is supposed to be similar to The Naturals because it's like FBI kids investigating cold cases and then, you know, it ties into real life murders happening in their timeline. It's crazy. I'm gonna pick up the third book in the series soon. So this for me is an absolute yes because it feels like a kind of, I guess, slasher movie almost that you would watch while you're home alone. When you were everything, if you've ever lost a friend in any way, shape or form, this book feels like the author opened a door into your mind and wrote your thoughts out on paper because that is everything I've felt and somehow she captured it on paper. Some Shall Break, next one in the None Shall Sleep series. We reviewed it a couple of books ago. Again, would recommend because this is such a fun, good old time and I can't wait to read the next book in the series. This is everything to me. Dogman, if you want to feel like a kid again, this is a different Dogman book, but it's just the same series. For me, it's everything. I will never, and I mean never, read anything like it in my life. This is it. Beach Read by Emily Henry. As a reader, I think I've read 600 books in my lifetime and this is the only one I want IV dripped into my blood because there's truly nothing like it. Already come to terms with that fact. This is it. This is my world and everything. This is a universe to me. This is it. You Again. I actually read a review wherein someone said that if beach read characters were unlikable and if they, you know, hate themselves and they are very self-deprecating, this is the book for you. And you know, don't let the pretty cover fool you because I read it for the cover. I walked away disappointed because I read it in the first place. Juniper Hill. This is actually probably the best book I've read in this series so far. It's called The Edens. But was it really worth reading the series in the first place because I actually hate it? But yeah, this was the best out of what it was, but it wasn't good according to my standards. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. If you want to feel intellectual but actually have a great time and the ending gets you, and suddenly you feel like such a smart, crazy person because you've read probably one of the most intimidating fantasies ever. This freaking book, haven't stopped thinking about it since I finished. The Psyching. This is supposed to be like a novella that kind of inspired Ward D by Frida McFadden, so I'm just gonna say maybe because she's Frida at the end of the day. It's always gonna be a maybe. Her books are hit or miss and this was a miss. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. If you want something that feels like it's a mixture of ACOTAR and Howl's Moving Castle, a couple of my 5-star series, this book is for you. It's got wholesome, it's got whimsical, it's got the vibes, and it's got the vibes. That's all you need. You're here for the vibes. The Prison Healer. This book I'm gonna say is slow and a little boring, but once you get to the ending, the plot twist had my jaw on the ground, and my jaw was on the ground for a whole 24 hours after I finished it, so yes. A Million Junes. Emily Henry let me down because this was more grief heavy than magical realism. Never thought I'd say that in my life, but yes, I was a little let down when I read this. The rest of her books haven't let me down so far, so I'm gonna keep holding my hope out. Because at the end of the day, she's Emily Henry. She can do no wrong. I don't even care. Book of Doors. If you're a book lover, which you probably are because you're watching this channel, read this book. This is like a love letter for book lovers. The Wicked Deep. This tries to be your favorite new witchy book, except I guessed the most important thing that there was in it, and then after I guessed it, I was just wondering and pondering the point of existence because why did I guess it in the first place? It had nothing else to it. Geronimo Stilton. Listen, hey, if I want to be a child again, let me be a child again. I will keep reading stuff like this and I will keep recommending it because it's my channel, my rules. The Gilded Cage. This is the next book in the Prison Healer series. Yes, this book is the perfect example of something that does not, I repeat, does not fall into second book syndrome because this gave me everything it had to, and it's the perfect build-up. It's the perfect second book in the series to read to the third book, which is the best one in the series. This is the original version of Macbeth by Shakespeare. I actually finished it last year in school, and I'm just gonna say, as a person, there's only so many times that you can break down a book and study it before you get so sick of it that even looking at it makes you want to go throw up, because that's me right now, so I'm gonna skip. What you're looking for is in the library. This book is essentially about how a good book rec can change your life, and reading this book really impacted my life, because genuinely never read anything like it. Can't wait to read more by this author. This was absolutely everything. You look better as a ghost. See, it was good because it was serial killer, but if you take away the serial killer aspects to it, was there anything left of it that I enjoyed? I'm gonna leave that to debate. Yellowface. I feel like if the ending wasn't what it was, this could have been 5 stars. This author has got very much 5-star potential, but then the ending was what it was, so here we are. This is the first volume in the Romance 101 series. You can find it on Webtoon. I actually read it because one of my friends asked me to, and it's a very healthy series, do not get me wrong, but it's also boring because I look for drama in books sometimes. Don't know what that says about me as a person, but it's really healthy in case you want to read it. Second book in Romance 101, very healthy in case you want to read it. Pumpkin Spice Cafe. If you want to feel like you're watching something like Gilmore Girls, trust this is coming from someone who's never watched Gilmore Girls, because this had everything in the fall vibes. It's just the romance falls really short. So if you want a book wherein the characters are attracted to each other physically from page 1, and that's basically the whole point, and that's every book in the series, with cute covers though, I'm just a girl gonna read it anyway, so that's for you too. Praise. This is me dipping my toes into forbidden romance and then realizing I don't like it and dipping my toes back out. Because genuinely, what was this? This is one of the Goosebumps books and it was good, do not get me wrong, but I was bored because sometimes, children's books, they cannot hold my attention because I'm not really a child anymore, but I'm still gonna keep reading them. The Blood Traitor. This is the last book in the Prison Healer series and I've been hyping it up for good reason, because for me, this is the best book in the series. There's build up to it, there's everything, there's found family, your favorite characters. I was crying at the ending even though it wasn't really sad, so take with that what you will, because I don't cry a lot to books. The Perfect Son. See, this was good because I was engaged, but also it was really slow, so by the end of it, I had checked out when the final reveal came into play, so I really didn't care, so we're just gonna move on. Hellbent. See, this tried to be everything Ninth House was and better, except it failed spectacularly because nothing can beat that for me. This one, what was the point of it? Genuinely, it felt like such a filler book. I can't wait for the next one in the series because obviously I'm reading it, but this was a filler book to me. Nutcracker. Reading it for the first time last year. If I would have read this as a child, I would have been feral for it, but because I didn't read it as a child, it was a good read, but I didn't read it as a child, that's my reasoning. Christmas Tales. I used to read this author as a child, so this really gave me the wholesome Christmassy vibes I was looking for. It gave me holiday season that I really came for, and I had a great time personally. Next book in the Romance 101 series. It's very healthy. It's not for everyone, but if you enjoy it, it's fun to read because it's like a whole Green Forest kind of series. The Christmas Wish. If this book was made into a movie, which I never say that about books, but if it was a movie, it would be so fun to watch because I had such a great time reading it. It gave me the holiday vibes and essence that it need to give. And it was Groundhog's Day, except set in winter time. Nothing can beat that. Next book in Romance 101 series. I feel like this series completely encapsulates every single form and type of love, almost like a guide to it, but not really because you're watching their story, and it was a good time. Milk and Honey. It's like a poetry collection. It's like a mix between Tumblr posts and also something your older sister would come say to you, but I don't have an older sister. I am the older sister and I never say stuff like this to my sibling. So keep it there what you will, but it's also like a collection of Tumblr posts, so whatever. My December Darling. This was a buddy read for me with one of my friends. I had the best time and I had the best vibes just because of the buddy read, but I feel like it would have fallen short as a novella because we didn't really explore other things. It was just about the two characters, but also it was a novella, so my reviews conflicted. The Christmas Fix. This really tried to be a very Hallmarky movie, and it could have been a Hallmark movie, do not get me wrong, except it was very spicy and insta-lovey and not for me. Window Shopping. Oh my god, this was like 200 pages full of spice. It had a little too much if you're gonna ask me, because that's not my kind of favorite book to read. But if you want to read it, you can, because the main girl is like an ex-convict or something like that, so it's fun to read about, but also it's really spicy. Like, where did all of that come from? Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. You remember those 2000s rom-com movies? Except if you want one set during Christmas time, this book is literally the essence of that. This book is encapsulating all of that in it, and it was perfect. This is one of my favorite authors for good reason. Yes. Sweet Temptation. This man neglects and abandons his dog. Straight to hell. Also, this was supposed to be like a mafia book and it felt really flat because nothing was happening. It was very chill, and if you took away the dark mafia aspects from it, it would have felt like a basic rom-com because literally nothing happened. Evidence of the Affair. I never thought I'd come and say to you that 80 pages of a novella will make me feel feelings. Like, come on. I know you feel feelings, but 80 pages made me want to cry and beg for more. Can't wait to read more by this author because she's a magician with her words. No Exit by Taylor Adams. This is set on a rest stop and I was listening to it while coming back from one of my trips. So this was the perfect vibes and I was scared shitless. I'm not even joking. This had me on the edge of my seat and I can't wait to watch the movie. Next book in Romance 101. Again, it's very healthy, it's very fun, but it's really up to the person who reads it because it's not for everyone, but it's a great time. Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This is better than the first one because it's all cute covers, except it's more instant physical connections, and I feel like the romance was much better in this, but I was really just reading this so I could get to the Christmas book because it was like Christmas season or something like that, and this is set during summertime. So I read a book about summer in December, and back in the actual summertime I read a book about vampires. My life is a paradox. We're gonna move past that, but the romance was fun in it. The summer vibes were just not it because it wasn't summertime actually, and maybe I'm judging it unfairly, but listen, this whole series to me is just fun palate cleansers that you can read if you want to, but if you don't want to, you won't like miss anything in your life by not reading it. So take with that what you will. But that's it for today's mini little vlog. This is very mini in comparison to Smash or Pass or Yes or No, because those two were like 1 hour of raw footage. This doesn't even hit the mark, and so I'm happy it got done early, but also you got full reviews of what I actually think of these books in a rapid fire summary, so that was fun. I know I said I would review it in only one sentence, so ignore that because I'm just a girl. Literally, I zone out sometimes and forget what I said myself, so let's move past the fact that I gave you easily more than one sentence on everything, and here we are regardless. But that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys had a fun time sitting down with me and speaking about my reads, and had, you know, fun recommendation or two come out of it. Hopefully you got a couple laughs, and hopefully, you know, we've spoken so much about books that, you know, you want to go pick up a book now, because that's the whole point of this channel. Let's influence you to read. I'm gonna go pick up my book and continue reading. The reason this is supposed to be like a filler video in between all of my other actual vlogs is because I'm recording a bigger reading vlog now that's taking more time, so hopefully you'll see it in the next week or two, because I'm so happy about it, about the way it's turning out, and I'm really anticipating your reaction to it as well. But until then, I'll see you whenever it comes out next. I'll see you in some time, hopefully. So regardless, I hope you had a fun time coming along with me in today's video. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you did. YouTube things, you know how to do them, and I'll see you hopefully in that very fun video, because I've been filming it for so long now and it's so worth it. Already found 2 5-star reads, on my way to find the third. That's a little teaser and spoiler for it. I don't even care, but I'll see you there whenever it comes out, and I hope you have a great rest of your day till then. Take care and bye.